Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Transformers Masterpiece MPG-15 Cybertron Spy, Cybertron Rattle, aka Beast Wars Rattrap from Takara Tomy. Lots of writing on there that I do not understand. Nice bit on the top. The box is the same sort of format as you would expect to see, and then on the back you've got all the things that it comes with. It comes with two heads for the robot mode, and he comes with two heads for the beast mode as well as his little bombs, body bombs, and a gun. And here he is with the others. We've seen these in the promo shots. And then just this side, just another Rattrap promo. Let's get Rattrap out of the packaging and have a closer look. So out of the packaging, this is what he looks like. I think he looks absolutely gorgeous. The usual things you would expect. You can see multiple flaps throughout it. I love the fact that there's sort of a brownie color there, as well as the sort of the grayish, and you got the pink on the hands and the nails painted, which looks really good. And then just round to this head sculpt, it's a really good head sculpt. I think that is absolutely fantastic. The mouth does open. There are two heads on this, and I will obviously show the other head as well. But yeah, just the detail is phenomenal. I think it's quite compact. You got a little bit of movement on tail as well, which is nice. And we will get him standing up before the end of this review. And there is the underneath. So he looks absolutely fantastic to begin with, and I'm really happy with how this looks. I think frustrating for me is the fact that he is in his beast mode, because that means I've got to transform all my Masterpiece into beast mode and then back to robot mode. I may do it the other way, because that's going to take twice as long. But anyway, that's a me problem, not a you problem. So let's firstly have a look at him standing up. Okay, we're all gonna die, as Rattrap would say. Here he is in his sort of standing up pose, so you can get him doing all sorts of things with his hands, like hands up, or I don't know. Anyway, I've just gone on a tangent, but you know, there's some nice little articulation in there, so you can get him sort of explaining stuff or saying, what are we doing? And he stands up quite nicely. I think you do expose a little bit of the bottom with this mode, but it's not a big deal as far as I'm concerned. I think it looks really good. Now you can, if you got this, you can add this on here like so, and you can bring in Optimus Primal like so, and then you can, there's a peg here, and you just poke that on there, nice and easy, if that decides to stay there. And then you could just get him sort of holding onto the top. And let me zoom out a little bit so you got a little bit more room, so you can see him on there. This bit does seem to want to pop out, but you know, I've got to remember this is 2016. I've had this for nearly 10 years, so it's lasted very well. But you can get him on the top like so, which is really cool. You can put him on the beast mode, which we will have a look at, because we're obviously going to do that famous scene of the three of them sitting on top of Rhinox. And here we are, and who would have thought Takara would give us this iconic scene from episode 1 when they are running towards the Predacons. I can't remember if they were running towards Cheetah, because Cheetah ran off exploring and then he got into trouble. I think that's what happened. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, very iconic. I think they all look great together, and they sit really nicely as well. All right, it's not perfect, but it is pretty darn decent. So there we go. Let's bring in the other season 1 characters from the Maximals, I may say, because I do have Black Arachnia from the Predacons. So, but let's focus on the Maximals, even though she becomes a Maximal later on. Before I forget, here is the card MPG-15 Cybertron Rattle. This will be going with my other cards that I have been collecting since beginning this, and trans art as well. But here we are. Here is the team in their beast mode. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot how complicated some of these were to transform, and some of these moments were very painful, and I'm surprised I'm not divorced right now. But anyhow, here they are, and they look absolutely fantastic. And this is what we dreamed of back in, what, 2016 or 2015, when this was announced and then released. This is what we dreamed of, and you know, it's taken almost 10 years to get to this point, let alone having air races, let alone not having enough Predacons released, what, Megatron and Black Arachnia, who I forgot at some point during this video to mention, have been released previously. So hopefully that is their next target. But yeah, always slow going with masterpieces, which is sometimes a bit frustrating for collectors. But hey, there it is. So without a blip, let's maximize. Forgot what I was going to say there. Anyhow, let's maximize. Okay, here is Rattrap out of his Ort mode, and I should have said beast mode really. Here he is in his robot mode, and an interesting transformation, which I think I've sort of succeeded okay. And I think he's come up really, really well in this sort of metallic. So we got to remember it was what's it, that sort of mainframe CGI early on, and it wasn't like CGI now, I guess. But I think this really jumps out of the series. Got a nice little head sculpt. We do have lead piping in there, which I really, really dislike. Sorry, I almost dropped him. Terrible. But that head sculpt's really nice. You got his little brain going on there. I love the fact you got a little Maximal Sigma in there. I'm hoping you can see that. And this gun, fantastic. Once again, just take that off. Let's take that off. Let's have a closer look at that. Nice little gun there. You got the Maximal sign there embedded really, really well, and it looks like little markings on there. Maybe that's how many Preds they've destroyed. This obviously connects like that because it goes inside well, his crutch very oddly in terms of his body. Let's go back to his body. Now, it does look great. I think this looks fantastic and quite compact, but you do end up with the sort of the mouse backpack, which maybe it's just user error. I still feel like I haven't really got in there. So there's like 3 points that's meant to connect, but I feel like it could just pop out at any moment. But it is what it is. You get the nice sort of force mice head on the front, making it a little bit more compact. But I think they've done a really, really good job, and it's a similar sort of mechanism to Cheeto, with the real head going inside the body and then the force head on the side. So head can go all the way around quite nicely. There's the the lead piping on the back, which I absolutely hate. Takes away somebody's brain as well. Lift the arm up like so, and you could get that 360. That would go all the way around if you didn't have a massive backpack. You've got a single on the arm, nice rotation on the wrist, a little up and down, and you can open these fingers very carefully here, he says, but that is about it. The thumb does not move. There's rotation. This can go all the way around, but with the backpack you want to be careful. You can kick out like so. You can kick a little bit forward, but once again, just be careful. Nice swivel there. Nice double on the leg. Once again, you're not going to get very far with this backpack. This swivels really nicely and different, and a little bit of toe articulation there as well. So you have some really nice articulation. So let's change the head sculpt on this, and more importantly, let's bring out Transmetal Rattrap. Okay, here is Rattrap with Transmetal Rattrap. So you can see that Transmetal Rattrap from Transart is slightly bigger and has a bigger backpack due to him obviously having big massive wheels now. And there is certainly, but it still sits on the back. So actually, now that I think of it, actually the backpack on Rattrap in his original form actually sort of makes sense in some ways, and I think they look really good together. I'm not going to pose them on a shelf. I have a season 2 shelf and a season 1 shelf, but I think absolutely fantastic. I do love how this looks together. So let me just move Transart Rattrap back out. So I've just changed the head sculpt like so. Apologies. So you can see he's got his mouth a little bit more open. He's a little bit more ready for the next stage. Now we're going to do this on camera. This side can go very well, or this is going to be disastrous. Let's move that gun out of the way. It is a little bit tight in there, so do be careful. So nope, we're just going to take the whole head off. That's always good, isn't it? So literally you can see just separates at the back. He says, by struggling to get it off. It's easy to get off when it's connected to the body, but clearly I put too much pressure on it, so do be careful. It's taking for ages. So he's got the red lead piping in there. So you can see there's 2 little holes there, 2 little holes sort of there, and you just put that pressure back on. Nice and simple. And then we're going to carefully put this back on there, because I do not want to damage this at all. There we go, in there, nice and easy. So there is the next head sculpt. So he's got big eyes wide open because we're all gonna die, and very nicely done. You can simply prod this piece up like so, and there is the belly bomb that I am not going to be able to get out with my fingers. So we are gonna, nope, there's got to be a way to flick that up with some tweezers. Oh, this is not fun. Wait a minute. So if you look very carefully on the arm, you can see there's a tiny little hole the other side there, which isn't visible when the piece is in there, and you've just got to sort of poke it out. I did manage to flick it out in the end, but you do want to be careful. I mean, more careful of the exterior than the internal, because you don't want to scratch anything. And then in reality, there is him holding his bomb, and you do have a second bomb in here, so he can have 2. They can throw at you as well, but I think that's come out really nice, and definitely a great homage to original Rattrap, being spy explosives experts at time, whatever you want to call them. I think it's great that they've done that. So without ado, let's move into that big finale where we bring in all the original cast of Beast Wars. As we come to the end of this video, it makes me very happy to see all 6 of these together, because they do look really good, and I really do hope next year we see an Air Razor as well, and we definitely need some Predacons, let's be honest. Long overdue some Predacons. The last Predacon was Megatron, and pretty much the one and only sort of Predacon you've got if you discount Dinobot. So I really hope that Takara Tomy, once I've got Air Razor done, focus on that. But yeah, this makes me happy having a complete, almost a complete Maximo team from season 1 together. This Rattrap is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adore how he looks. I think he looks absolutely amazing. So an incredible job, and reminds me why I once was really in love with the Masterpiece line from a Transformers perspective. However, nowadays generally I keep it quite strict and focus on pretty much only on Beast Wars. There we go. So anyway, if you like my video, do please support me by subscribing. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed already. Make sure you look after yourself. Very, very important these days. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.